The Aberdeen bubble has burst yet again. How many times are we going to keep on saying that? I don't really know, but it's Motherwell 2, it's Aberdeen 0. They sit fourth, technically no ground lost on Dundee United because they actually get beat by Hearts. Somehow that happened. But I tell you what, every other team other than St Johnstone are galloping. They're closing them down. But we're going to see what the Aberdeen fans had to say. We claimed earlier that there was no Aberdeen fans. It turns out the angle that they had at Fir Park didn't show the top end of the stand, which was packed out. But the fact of the matter is this, folks. The complete bottom tier was empty. I know there was snow, but come on. It wasn't a good look. It's not a good look for Premier Sports. Oh, Scottish football, half two kickoff, Motherwell against Aberdeen, and it's empty. We need more people in the stadiums, man.
We do. We need more people, but I think Aberdeen fans need Aberdeen to show them a bit more. We keep saying the bubbles burst. When are we going to stop saying it? Well, we'll stop saying it when Aberdeen actually get back on track. When they actually start blowing bubbles again. When they actually start picking up results again. And they just have not done that now for 10 games. I believe it's 10 games, 8 defeats, 2 draws. So, I mean, that is dross. That is relegation territory. You just cannot have that sort of run and expect to be praised, expect not to come under fire. And Aberdeen, rightfully so, are coming under fire, not just for criticism, but for the rest of the teams in the league. They are catching them. Rangers have already caught and passed them. Dundee United have already caught and passed them. And I believe Motherwell will be next. Then after that, I think they're going to have a whole list of teams chasing them down. Hibernian, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, dare I maybe even say Hearts? Who knows? At this rate, Ross County are looking good. Maybe they're going to go on a run. So, Aberdeen, we kind of just assumed we're going to be third by default, but we did not expect, nobody could expect this run that they've been on lately to happen. And if it continues to happen, then, they really could be looking at a horrible season. They might even finish lower than they did last year, which seems crazy to think, considering that for, the first, quarter or the first third of this season, there was all the talk about the title race and they were neck and neck with Celtic. Obviously, since that defeat against St Mirren, they've just went absolutely backwards. We were wondering how much a defeat, a bad result, was going to set them back, if they could rebound, if they could recover. Didn't expect it to affect them this much. It's been shit show after shit show since that St Mirren game. And they don't even show any signs of turning it around. They can't really sit here and say, well, they've been really unlucky, they've looked good, they've just not got the results. They've got absolutely nothing. They've got what they've deserved. And honestly, Jimmy THELIN is a man on borrowed time. Very fortunate he got that good start to the season, or else I don't think he'd be in a job. As a manager of one of the top clubs in Scotland, you cannot go on this sort of run that Aberdeen are on. And this isn't a guy that's got seasons in the bank where, he's built up a good reputation like a McInnes had, for example. This is a guy that has come in and, got to a great start, but with hindsight, maybe that great start was just lucky. Maybe it was. A lot of those games Aberdeen won by a single goal. A lot of those games that weren't really deserving and winning and they were just relying on late goals. And they did have a pretty easy start to the season when you look at the fixture list. Derek McInnes, when he left Aberdeen, his run of form, it certainly wasn't as bad as Aberdeen's in their last 10. So, you know what? I don't know. For me, Jimmy THELIN, at this rate, as crazy as it seems, he might not last till the end of the season if results don't improve. But here, that's just my opinion. Everybody's got one. Let's see what the Aberdeen fans think.
Absolutely, but you're right. Here, if this run continues, right, until the start of February, does he survive January? I'm not convinced. Because if this run continues, it means he didn't go through in the Cup. And I believe they're playing some Diddy team. And it's not by the name of Hearts, so I don't really know what's going on there. Caught a wee stray there. But Danzig says, I'm still behind Jimmy. Jim will fix it. We've been unlucky with injuries, etc. But even taking all that into account, this run is a disgrace. We're toothless up front, an abomination in defence. What do the players do in training? Is this shambles all on them? I don't know. Well, I think THELIN's got to take a bit of responsibility because you can't claim the run earlier in the season was all him, but this ain't any of him. It's a mixture.
If you're going to give Jimmy THELIN all the credit for the initial start, which I think he deserves, you've got to give him all the blame for this current run, which he also deserves. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But Super Aberdeen says, urgently need players in and in. before Hearts games. Some of these players don't deserve to wear the jersey.
But you know what? That pisses me off because it's the same fucking players that were on that run.
No.
It's the exact same players. How are people so fickle? I mean this across all football fans, even Hearts, because we came in. No, I don't understand, right? See, at the end of last season, coming into this season, see if you asked anyone, right, who was impartial or anyone who's pretty fair and balanced, you asked them who had the third best squad in the league, they would say Hearts.
Yep.
Right? See, after a few months when Hearts were really shite and Aberdeen were doing well, I remember saying in videos that I still believed Hearts had the third best squad, and people were like pure laughing. I wasn't saying we had the third best team on form, or we were currently playing like the third best, or we were going to finish third. I simply said that I still believe that Hearts have the third best squad, and everyone was laughing like I was fucking out of my mind, and a lot of it was Aberdeen fans, and now they're talking about all these players that they were bragging up at the start of the season. I mean, Aberdeen had themselves in a battle for first. They thought second was wrapped up. And the same players that they thought were good enough to have Rangers out of sight, out of mind, out of second, are now not simply fit to wear the shirt. You know, it's very fickle, and we see it with all the clubs, whether it be... I mean, you even see it with the top two clubs as well. I mean, look at Liam Scales. I mean, a guy that was getting praised there non-stop for a year has a couple of bad games, and all of a sudden he's a crap player that should never play for Celtic again. And we've seen it with Rangers where... Alright, maybe Rangers haven't had that many players that have been playing good for a prolonged period of time, but we get this all the time, man. People have really short memories.
They do, but...
I'd love to know what Aberdeen players aren't fit to wear the shirt. I've seen people say, Shinnie, Nelson, Clarkson. It's like, those are players that 2-3 months ago you were praising, and you were saying that were, a huge influence and playing a huge impact on Aberdeen's great start. I just don't see how people think players automatically go from, he's a really important member of this team, he's the reason why we're successful, to a few months later, garbage, not fit to wear the shirt, should never play again. It's fucking mental.
No, I agree.
Form is temporary.
But that is football, though, isn't it?
Form is temporary, class is permanent, so...
That is football, though, to a T. Super Aberdeen says, I feel for the fans big time. Rangers chat sends a bunch of laughing emojis. Yo, see Twitter trolls, right? I think they're funny sometimes. But see if you're a Rangers fan and
that's what you got to be laughing about.
Putting these free laughing emojis in, Aberdeen could be like, well, you know what? You're on double one. You concede it as many goals a day as your wee emojis here, and that's you snookered. Black's behind the white. I do not understand this, man. It's like, I think it's one thing, right, if you're doing what we're doing, like YouTube, and you have a bit of banter on, like, video, but see actually fucking spending your life on Twitter, making, like, $3 a month, winding up fellow fans when your own club's doing shite, and that goes for anybody, it doesn't have to be Rangers. I think it's weird. Like, I think sometimes it's funny. Like, Lasunas, for example, I think he can be funny. But this pish... Like, Phantom here, like, this is a Rangers fan.
Well, from an Aberdeen perspective, there's nothing funny about this current run. It is abysmal.
Well, what do you make of the trolls, though? I think it's a bit desperate. Another troll here. The old firm stretch ever further, clear of the pathetic new firm. A 2-horse race yet again. Hope you enjoyed your week-long challenge for second place, Aberdeen fans.
But, they were never expected to be up there. This would be like Man United winning, and then the fans come out and go, see, we're too good. We're stretching ahead of those relegation teams. It's like, you shouldn't even be down there in the fucking first place. Yeah,
Mr. TNVLL says, so much better in the second half with 10 men. Dante and Nielsen at centre-back. I tell you what, they were better in the second half. We said this in the review.
How much is that Mullerville, though, just taking a foot off the gas?
It could have been. And that is where we're going to wrap it up, guys. Aberdeen fans react.
About 5 of them.
Here, plenty of them, few Rangers fans in there as well, but we need to move on to bigger and better things, because you know what that is? Fallout to the weekend, and then we've got a special SPFL midweek preview show. You ready for those apples?
Yes, sir.
I guess so. We need to reel in the Aberdeen hate for you, man. Your club's pissing sitting in 11th.
Aye, not for much longer, though.
Heart's going to finish above Aberdeen this season?
I'm tempted to say yes.
He's tempted to say yes.
Yo, we beat them.
Personally, I don't care about the also-rans, because...
Fuck it, we will. Hearts will finish above Aberdeen this season.
How much would you bet on it?
£100.
£100?
Anybody that wants to take that, you have to give me 2-1 though.
2-1?
I think that's fair.
That's fair
I'm
enough.
giving you an 11-point head start here, so You can give me 2-1 odds.
Say we're both on equal points.
Oh, fuck. I mean, it wouldn't even be a bet. I mean, Critchley could play the next couple of games and just retire and we'd still finish above him.
Retire. Sacked. Right, peace.